Hello everyone, this is Benjamin, lead of creative design for Toontown Offline, and today I'm going to discuss the Prologue update. Now, we released the Prologue update yesterday, and ever since it happened, we've gotten an enormous amount of positive feedback towards this update. Now, it might have not went perfect, because lots of people have different issues and crashes, but I have to say this is the smoothest update Offline has done as of yet, and it seems the one people love the most. So today I'm just going to be talking about the storyline. But before I do that, I just want to say hotfixes are on their way for later today, possibly tomorrow. We're going to try for today. That address some of the crashes, such as purchasing a doodle. Some other ones, I mean, if you made a tune in the top left corner, then that would overwrite Scrooge. That's been fixed already. I understand that people have had issues walking into Gyro's lab. Honestly, from what we have found, that depends on how great your computer is. I barely have that issue, I sometimes do. I know John, he has a really good computer, and he barely has that issue. Actually, I don't think he's ever had that issue. I know a good friend Tommy, he didn't have any issues, and he has an Alienware computer, really good. I know some other people, like Ugly Corny and Loopy Goopy G, they didn't have any issues from what I understand, and I believe they have good computers. I mean, they can have to do video editing, things like that, and whatever. But yeah. So we will try to find a fix for that crash. It happens randomly to just anyone, which is kind of weird. And I know there are some other crashes that we have acknowledged, and we try to fix in this hotfix, or maybe down the line. If it doesn't work for you, then we're sorry, but luckily there's lots of YouTube videos going up, and I'm really thankful for that, because just seeing how many people are making videos on this acknowledging the update, it is really great, and it makes the whole team happy and encouraged to work on part 2 of the update. In our eyes, if you guys enjoyed this update, oh, you're gonna enjoy later this year when we have the second update. You're gonna really have a blast with that one if you enjoy this, because in our eyes, this one is small. And this is an extremely small update compared to what we've been working on over the past year. But I think I've done enough rambling. I'm gonna get into a little bit of a storyline part of the update. So, I expanded upon what happens with Scrooge in Gyro's lab. I'm the one who planned all the storyline out, said this goes here. I developed all the sequences in the updates, but man, big thanks to everyone else on the team. Like John basically, oh my god, he worked so many hard hours just to redo the DNA, just to have Scrooge load in from the title screen, and so many things like that. I know Barry Funny and Sparkpin really helped me along the way as I was making my sequences. Especially Barry Funny. Without him, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it as easy. And of course, Super Tricky, Fork Rave, Odie, just for, with their amazing artwork, especially Super Tricky with his great models. None of this would be possible without them. So yeah, so you begin in the money bin. Is this the same money bin as in DuckTales? No. It is a separate money bin, kind of like a replica built on the outskirts of Toontown. Will we be able to go in there in the future? Yes. As an Easter egg, not as a main storyline type of thing. Because I think Bethy, and Bethy from the Toontown Infinite staff, I think she's going to be working on the interior for that as an Easter egg, but you're going to have to wait until the next episode for that. So you spawn there, and a lot of people have been saying, oh, you need a fix, how you can open your book, right? You can type something in chat. But maybe over the book, yes, but typing something in chat would kind of acknowledge that we're like, okay, let's just leave it in, because we want to do commands while we're in the prologue, or if we would just want to screw around and say hi, or say some stuff that Scrooge wouldn't say and take screenshots of it, then, I don't want to stop anyone from doing that. But it directs you into Oldie's Gardens. Now, I know a lot of people have been confused because we don't really have anything directing people towards Oak Street, and in the most recent hotfix we will. Scrooge will say something like, oh, perhaps I should go check out Oak Street. He'll say something along those lines. So people kind of get confused. I know, I was stupid for kind of missing that part out. Like, of course people wouldn't know where to go. So, the tunes running around in these gardens are supposed to emulate old tunes, and I just caught this yesterday actually, because all NPCs have orange name tags. But back in 2003 Toontown, normal tunes had orange name tags. So if we're trying to really emulate normal tunes, it's kind of ironic how they have orange name tags, and they're trying to emulate really tunes. I think that's like really cool. I didn't even notice that before. So they really do emulate real tunes, and of course those tunes are all the people who worked on the update, their tunes. And some are just sitting there, some are saying pieces of dialogue. I really think people will love to what Forkrave's tune says, and that sequence is a little bit bugged because the way he walks back is just really funny. But I think we're gonna leave it that way because that fits his character. It's really funny. But yeah, then you will go into Oak Street, and here's where I start talking about the storyline part, because I'm gonna try to point out things that maybe people might have noticed, might not have noticed. But when you walk into Oak Street, there's no Cellbot HQ at the end. It's 2003. There's Gyro's lab. Now, how does this make sense on the map, you might ask? Well, on the map, if you look inside of the original Toontown installation video, when, you know, the one where Scrooge created the cogs, you see there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Toontown," and there's a big city in the background, but there's fields before that city. So it's like a garden type area. Now, I put in my head, okay, I'm going to assume this is like a camera angle right outside the lab. So, that being said, if you look at the map, it only makes sense that first you see the gardens, and then you see the city, Toontown Central. So that's where I got the idea that the lab would actually be Cellbot HQ. Also got to think of it like this. If the lab is where the cogs first started being produced, the factory is where the cogs are produced. So they just built on top of that, and that became Cellbot HQ. So Cellbot HQ is, in essence, the lab, but they built over it. Will we be revisiting the lab in Cellbot HQ? I will say yes for the next update. We will be in the lab again. This is not the last you will see of the lab, but that's how it makes sense geography-wise. So yeah. So then you walk into the lab and everything, and you got to keep in mind, as this is happening, the elections are also going on. Now I know in the elections, I believe you have Dim and Prepostera. They are currently analyzing Slappy's statue. Now, I did address this because how can they be in the lab, and how could they be addressing Slappy's statue at the same time? I really, I wanted to get past this little mistake as fast as I can with a little cheap, cheap statement. So I'm just gonna say they had clones of themselves there. I mean, nothing else you can really say. That's just a bad storyline error. I mean, we can just pretend that they were never analyzing Slappy's stand, or we can just say that. But yeah, that's kind of a bad storyline fall. But when you enter the lab, the elections are going on with Flippy and Slappy at the same time, and you see Dim and Prepostera in there, and Scrooge walks up to them and say, "Why are you two always together?" And they say, "Oh, we're the two." Well, if you've ever kept track of TTR's storyline, they always have these two characters called the Two, and they're really mysterious. And I decided, you know what? I think it would be best if we made Dim and Prepostera more important to the storyline rather than just two stupid goons to help Surly, aka Gyro, out. So they're the two, and you'll be seeing more about them in the future. And when you finish talking to them, you go into the other part of the lab. And then now, I was showing a friend this, Invisible Mario. I was showing him this a couple weeks before it came out. You get the two whispers that say, "Toon HQ, the elections are about to begin," things like that. And he was like, "Oh, Ben, you guys just copy the election code." No. In case anyone was confused on that, it's to reflect how the elections are happening simultaneously with Scrooge in the lab. So that exact same whisper, word for word, happened in the actual elections. Just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge over to the elections that are happening. So then, you go, and Scrooge finds Robot 001, which is the chairman. Will that be his face permanently? No. That is his version 1 face. His head, I guess I should say. That is what the chairman looked like when he was just created. It will change, and you may encounter him again in the second update. You'll just have to wait and see. So basically, yeah, we couldn't get the exact animations and stuff we wanted. He just does a flower power at the machine when he activates the cogs, the chairman that is, when he activates the machines to create the cogs. And then the cogs are coming out. Now, the first row, which I believe was 6 cogs, there's 18 cogs that I spotted in the original video. The first row of 6 are the exact same. So of course, Disney messed up the suits, so the Big Cheese is like a cash bot, or the Yes Man's like a cash bot or whatever. I copied the first 6 suits exactly. They're not lined up the same because the way they come out the machine through the conveyor belt is different from the one in game. But they do come out. The first 6 are the exact same in the video. And of course they start to come out, and the Yes Man will fly up first because he's the one that kills Sloppy. And then finally the rest of the cogs will go. The rest I just picked out of a hat. Okay, this cog will go in. I just tried to mix it up a little bit. Then finally, Chairman, he'll turn to not Slappy, he'll turn to Scrooge, and then you don't see what happens after that. But you do hear the sound, the sad sound effect, which does imply, and he went sad. But what we see from Scrooge again in the next update, we will also see from him again in the next update. Although we did go sad. So those are pretty much all the storyline aspects that I wanted to point out, because not many people might notice those little details, but I want them to be noticed really bad, because I put a lot of hard work into that. But again, I'm just glad that we've gotten a lot of good feedback for this update. We had a fun time making the prologue. Now we're going to start on the other part of the update. It's going to be great. Yeah, so thanks for sticking by with Offline. We now have flares on the Reddit, thanks to Otaku. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. So you can go download Toontown Offline, currently only via the subreddit. I guess I can put a link in this video. You can probably see links in lots of videos, so you just like search around, look around. We don't have our website running anymore. Yeah, so I gotta stop rambling on here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone some other time. See ya.